Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
PLP Deputy Leader Chester Cooper demands answers following the leak of that EPL report.
Our News has the details on a man who was shot and killed on Ross Corner.
The Prime Minister tours BTVI.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. After 6 days, the strike by junior doctors is over. This after Labour Minister Dion Fowkes announced this afternoon that the matter has been referred to the Industrial Tribunal. Jared Higgs has more.
In a statement released at 2 p.m. on Monday afternoon, Fowkes says, "I have considered that the strike action taken as a result of the strike certificate issued on the 19th December 2018 concerning the issue of the employer's failure to pay employees holiday pay has affected and threatened the public interest. I have, therefore, referred the dispute, which has given rise to the strike action, to the Industrial Tribunal. In accordance with the said act, all parties to the dispute have been notified in writing." Moments earlier, Bahamas Doctors Union President Dr. Millicent Bassett was defending her union from a so-called wish list of demands it presented to the Public Hospitals Authority. She says those demands were meant to make up for $5 million worth of back pay the union agreed to pass on.
If we give up money, millions of dollars, and in addition to that, if we waive our interests, we gave the government options.
Among the options presented to the PHA were the construction of a parking garage with proceeds split between government and the union, improved insurance, or one-time tax waivers. Bassett insists that the non-monetary options are fair since the BDU waived more than $5 million of additional money owed by government.
Choose from those options. Initially, we said choose two of those options to decide if we're not going to pay, we're waiving half of the money that's owed. Choose two options to compensate us for the monies that we gave up. We didn't ask for everything on that list.
A scheduled Monday meeting with the PHA and Labour Director John Pinder didn't happen. Despite assertions by Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands that the BDU cancelled the meeting, Bassett again insisted that it was acting Labour Director John Pinder who called the meeting off. Our News spoke to Pinder on Monday afternoon, and he conceded that he cancelled the meeting since the doctors indicated that they did not plan to sign off on an agreement that emerged after the BDU met with Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis last week.
I thought the whole purpose for the meeting was to iron out the issues that we're having coming to a signatory spot or being able to sign this document. There are some issues with that.
Tension between the BDU and PHA is no doubt building. On Friday, the BDU refused to meet with the Labour Director after he invited the PHA to the meeting without informing them. Today's announcement by the Labour Minister that the matter has been referred to the Industrial Tribunal indicates a potentially long road ahead. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, 2 days after union leaders left a meeting with the Prime Minister feeling dissatisfied, PLP Deputy Leader Chester Cooper slammed the state of labour relations in the country.
Many of the union leaders said that they were not impressed and not pleased and not happy with the outcome of the meeting. The opposition is very concerned about the state of labor relations in our country. There's been an unprecedented level of labor unrest. This is only the tip of the iceberg.
Well, following Saturday's meeting, leaders of the public sector unions asserted the timing was poor and they left with no concrete information for their members. Cooper said it was startling to hear that no budget allocations were made for money owed to public sector workers.
To hear them say that they haven't provided for the eventuality of increasing remuneration to public servants is really startling. And it speaks again to the need for them to pay more attention to the people. Less focus on just the numbers, but the substance of the numbers. And this has been our constant complaint with the Ministry of Finance. They're not doing enough to ensure that the Bahamian people get the services they need, and the Bahamian people are well served.
Well, as several unions apply pressure to government for money they are owed, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced today that his administration will find the funds to provide a $500 housing stipend for Family Island students who attend BTVI. Jasmine Brown has more.
Prime Minister revealed those new plans for BTVI students as he toured the campus today with Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd. While he was addressing a room full of BTVI students from across the country, Minnis revealed that he has already spoken to the Ministry of Finance about setting aside the necessary funding.
I've spoken with the Financial Secretary, and I would ask your President to provide us with the numbers of students attending BTVI from the Family Islands so that they too can receive the same benefits as those from University of Miami.
The Prime Minister also told the students that his administration is proud that so many of them are taking advantage of the opportunity to attend school tuition-free thanks to the Tuition Grant Initiative, which was launched at BTVI and the University of the Bahamas. However, he admitted that it was an oversight to not consider those who may need housing assistance.
The question was posed to me that the students attending University of Bahamas, those coming from the Family Islands looking for accommodation, are given or granted $500 to assist them with accommodation. And BTVI students is not given the same benefit. To be honest with you, when we had put the program together, that was an oversight.
The announcement comes as some public sector unions continue to hammer the government over money. BPSU members marched last week demanding money they claim they are owed. Meanwhile, doctors are on strike over thousands of dollars owed in holiday pay. Minnis, who met with those union leaders on Saturday, declined to comment on the matter. However, he insisted that making education more accessible is priceless.
It's essential that as government, we must give you all the proper tools available to ensure that you become the best and that our future is secured and protected. There are some students who may come from underprivileged environment and do not have the funding or the finances to attend university like UB and BTVI, but they should not be marginalized.
As it relates to how many BTVI Family Island students are eligible for housing stipends, BTVI officials say there are about 100 students currently enrolled. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In other news, a 28-year-old man was shot and killed on Ross Corner last night. This latest killing capped off a weekend of gun violence in the country. Jared Higgs has more.
According to police, it was around 10 on Sunday night when two men were standing in front of this blue home on Ross Corner. That's when somebody pulled up in a white vehicle and fired shots in their direction. One of the men was hit. He was transported to hospital where he later died. Family members told Our News the victim is 28-year-old Justin Davis.
I still in disbelief.
Davis's cousin, 28-year-old Keisha Delancey, says he was a humble person who kept to himself. We also spoke with sister, 23-year-old Brittany Roker. However, she was too emotional to speak on camera.
My cousin wasn't the kind of person to go then. Me personally, go then, pick no trouble in.
Davis was shot just one street over from where he lived. A pool of blood where the incident took place was visible on Monday morning. The grieving relative says she was at home when she got the news on Sunday evening. She was a part of a group of family members who visited the hospital where the 28-year-old was pronounced dead.
Anyone you see in the morning, tell them good morning. Just go by the day.
Another of Davis's sisters, Narissa Eve, says their mother died nearly 4 years ago. She says the mother-son pair were close as he was her only son. She says he never got over her death as she was the only parent he knew. And while things didn't always go his way, the victim's cousin says he was excited to start a new job on Monday.
Despite whatever Justin's going through or whatever the case was, this person used to wake up every morning with a smile on their face.
Davis's killing rounded off a deadly period where 6 people were gunned down in as many days. On Saturday morning, a man was shot dead on the island of Abaco after police say a gunman entered a home on Breadfruit Street in Marsh Harbor. Later that day, police on Eleuthera reported that a man was shot and killed in the settlement of James Cistern. According to Our News records, Sunday night's Ross Corner killing was the 61st homicide for 2019. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Operator error on the part of Bahamas Power and Light is said to be the cause of the September 2018 fire that damaged 2 generators at the Clifton Pier Power Station. PLP leaders are calling for those responsible to face the consequences. Giorgio Bain reports.
After months of inquiring the cause of a fire at Bahamas Power and Light's Clifton Pier Station that would have damaged 2 separate engines, a report obtained by the Nassau Guardian revealed that operator's fault was the issue. Now leaders of the Progressive Liberal Party are demanding that someone be held accountable.
The report revealed that either BPL's attempt to troubleshoot an engine that had been brought online contrary to the manufacturer's established protocol or manipulation of a critical engine component during maintenance caused the fire. Deputy Leader of the Progressive Liberal Party, Chester Cooper, said with residents in New Providence still suffering from prolonged power outages, there must be consequences for those responsible for the fire.
We have long been concerned about the state of BPL. We believe the chickens have come home to roost. We're now very concerned about the reports we're seeing that the fires were a result of neglect or incompetence, and certainly with the level of decay and deterioration in service that we're seeing, with the costs associated with the fires. There has to be consequences.
The 21-year-old and 17-year-old engines would have only taken 30 minutes to troubleshoot properly, according to the manufacturer. According to the report, it would have cost $33 million to replace the generator that was destroyed, repair the one that was damaged, and to bring the entire plant at Station C fully online. Cooper said the opposition will be waiting the government's response on this issue.
The CEO, the board, must give an account to the Bahamian people. The government must take action, and there must be consequences with respect to these issues. So it is unacceptable for there to have been attributed blame, if you will, or responsibility for such serious neglect, and there not be consequences.
The report comes as New Providence residents continue to suffer from frequent power outages. Cooper said the entire situation is completely unacceptable.
It's not only a crisis, it's approaching a national security issue. Any country that cannot provide reliable power, cannot provide food and reliable power and the basics of life, certainly needs a reassessment as to the state of play.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
All right, thanks, Giorgio. Still to come, Disney unveils Lighthouse Point's conceptual design. Plus, Dame Marguerite lays a wreath at Sir Lyndon Pilling's grave. Stay tuned.